Welcome to the Self-Realized Podcast with Linton Bergson, where you will shatter your limits. I am not much into the self-help industry as much as I'm into the self-realized individual, which is you. What matters most to you, how you get there, and the obstacles that may be in your way. If you would like to be part of this podcast and part of that discussion, I welcome you here with an open heart, open mind, and open arms. So, without further ado, let's get on with the podcast. Welcome to the Self-Realized Podcast, Shatter Your Limits. I am Linton Bergson, and this is episode 10, How to Focus Using Vision, Passion, Goals, and Strategy. By the end of this episode, you will know how to have the ability to focus exactly on what it is that you are trying to accomplish. And as you and I both know, trying to focus is extremely difficult in today's society, where we have so many different distractions that are continually trying to pull on us, from social media to our friends, family commitments, and the list goes on and on. However, there are certain things that you can put in place and that you need to have in place that will help you to focus easily. And when I say easily, it's because it's internal. And when you begin to understand that any type of focus or motivation is an internal activation of something that is innate, you begin to realize that you can access that to manifest into reality that which you wish to have. And one of the critical factors in any type of focus that you would like to have is a vision, is to have a very clear and precise vision of what it is that you see yourself doing. Because without that vision, you will not have the ability to see it through. And vision basically gives you the ability to emotionally connect to an outcome that you would like to have. Because focusing on something 95% of the time means you're trying to make something happen. You're trying to manifest something. You're trying to come up with something. You're trying to have something come into conscious reality that right now is not there. And that requires an ability to really be clear about what it is that you are seeing and feeling that you want to bring into reality. And you have had many visions in your life about what it is that you would like to have in your life, and then focused on it and gone forward and made it a reality. It could be simple things. It could be from the people you wanted around you, the date that you wanted to have, how you saw that person, how they would look, how they would behave. And then you pursued that based on how you saw them. It could be a simple remodel in your house. It could be the kitchen that you remodeled and redid. However, you had to come up with a vision, how you wanted it to look, the colors that you wanted it to have, how it would interact with everything else that was in the kitchen. And then you pursued it as a reality. I could give you many examples that we all do and that we use ongoing to create what we want, which is even from buying a car. You can look at buying a car because before you went to shop for it, you visualized it before you left. So you have a clear vision, very specific, of how you want that car to look, the different things it may have in it, the color, and how much money you're prepared to spend on buying that car. So it's a very specific vision that you have on most things that you do. And it is with the same detail that you're going to proceed forward with anything you do in your life. Because without that detailed vision, you're not going to be able to follow through. So the question you have to ask yourself now is, what is it you really want to do, and why aren't you truly focused on it with the same passion that you would have and intensity that you have done other things? And the simple answer sometimes is you have not sold yourself on the idea and moved forward with the same commitment, because you may have a certain element of fear, uncertainty, anxiety about this particular vision that you have now that requires you to stretch yourself out a little further than you have in the past. If you had the kitchen, or you had the relationship, or you had the car, they are a little bit more tangible than you saying to yourself, I would like to start my own business. I would like to move here. I would like to change my relationship. I see myself differently than I have in the past. They require, those visions, you to step into an arena that you have to create the tangibles for yourself. In other words, if you wanted to start a new business, you're going to have to figure out how you are going to do that. And you're going to move forward with that within your own internal ability to handle the risk, the ups and downs, what may or may not happen. Will it be a success? Will I be able to handle it if it's not? If you go out to buy a car, it's walking to the showroom and see if it's there. If not, order it or look somewhere else. The kitchen, the same thing. You can order the kitchen. You can have someone put it in. Yes, it may not work out exactly as you thought, but there is certain control over that. So you establishing a vision for yourself outside of the ability just to control externally, and the controls are all internal. And that is a bigger requirement of focus on your part than the others I have mentioned. To a large extent, in all the years I've been working with organizations, CEOs, people, individuals, it really doesn't make any difference. The one thing about vision that is critical to its outcome is, are you truthfully bought into it? Do you buy in, and have you sold yourself? And if it's an organizational business vision, not only have you sold yourself on the vision, but have you sold everybody else around you on it? And it's the same principle that applies in our own lives, personally or professionally. Vision drives you forward from innate buy-in. You have sold yourself on the ability that you can do this, you can manifest this, and you're all in. It has a tangible reality within yourself that you can taste, feel, and almost touch before it has actually manifested itself into reality. And when you have that type of commitment to your vision and you have sold yourself on it, and you will along the way have to sell other people on it because you don't manifest a vision by yourself, you will move forward with that commitment and that conviction with enthusiasm, and that is called the second part of what I am going to discuss today, passion. And passion for a vision simply means that you have sold yourself on it 100%. You are completely convicted to it. You are committed to it, and you understand that this is going to happen. And when you understand that and you act from that place, there is no equivocation. Passion is an innate fire in you that wants to make something happen beyond all external circumstances that may occur. And that is the influence you're having on yourself. And you want to move forward from that place. You can't invent that. You can't manufacture that. I'm sure you recall when you wanted that relationship or you wanted that car, for instance, you wanted that car and you wanted that relationship. There was a passion attached to it. Passion is something that you have in you because you are sold on what you are doing. And that enthusiasm is contagious. And you sell that enthusiasm for something that isn't in reality yet. If you look at anything that has been created by anyone that is now in existence that wasn't there before, it was created, first of all, by an idea. And what's an idea? It's a vision. What's a vision? It is seeing something that's not in reality, and then you begin to work on it and manifest. And the ability to do that really is what's separating you out from everybody else. And focus comes from that. Focus comes from the ability to be so one-pointed in your vision and so connected by your enthusiasm and passion for what you see that you all have a one-pointed focus. And if the two don't marry, you're not going to be able to pull it off because you'll get thrown off if it's just a half-hearted vision, because someone will say something to you and you're not really bought into it. You're not really bought into what you see. And so your focus now is thrown off by what is being said to you, what is happening around you. However, when you see something so clearly and feel it so deeply, you are totally focused on it. And you have experienced that. When you have intense concentration and focus on something, think back on one or two things you've had that intense focus where you're not even aware of what is going on around you. Someone could call your name and you're not even aware that they're speaking to you because your focus was so intense, because what you were doing mattered that much. No one could deter you from it. And that is the type of intensity and focus that you will experience again once you have passion and vision connected. And once vision and passion are connected and they're working together, you then have to move into the third phase, and the two go together, which is looking at, okay, I have this vision, I have the passion, now I'm going to have to set some goals in order to make this happen. And you begin to set these goals from a very specific place. And goal setting and strategy are critical, not only in personal life, but if you're looking at your business and your career. How to set those and move forward with them is going to determine whether they are accomplished or not. And there is an acronym that you probably are aware of. If not, you can Google it and you'll see many different versions of it and how to execute it. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give you how I have worked with organizations and individuals over the years on manifesting it into reality from the initial place of vision first, having the passion for the vision, and then moving into the goal-setting stage. And the acronym is SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and tangible. And the first stage of that acronym, the S, which is specific, is the most critical. Because if you don't have a specific vision and you don't have a specific idea of where you want to go, then jumping to goal-setting process is a complete and utter waste of time. So please make sure that your vision is very clear and that you are very attached to that vision and you feel it deeply and you are committed to it before getting into the goal-setting process. Because I've worked with people who get into the goal-setting process and the vision wasn't very clear. They realized that it was off and they spent a lot of time goal-setting and they weren't really committed to it, so it was a waste of time. And I don't want that for you. So let's get into this goal-setting process together from the understanding that you're very clear and committed to your vision. Let me give you an example of a specific goal as opposed to a goal that has no specificity and will not manifest into reality. I will give you a goal that we can all relate to, which is weight loss and working out and wanting to get into a certain type of shape. To say you want to go to the gym and work out 3 times a week and lose weight is not a specific goal, and it will have great difficulty in manifesting into reality. The first thing, as I mentioned, make sure you sold yourself and bought into it. You have a passion for it, and now you're going to go do this. A specific goal would be, I would like to lose X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks, and I would like to implement this exercise program to do that with this diet over this specific period of time and measure my results. And I cover this in much more detail in Chapter 5 of my book, Purposeful Vision, See Your Vision, Know Your Purpose, and give specific details on how you measure that and how you're able to accomplish a goal, being very specific about what it is you would like the outcome to be. And the second phase of the acronym is measurable. How are you going to measure that you are meeting your goals on an ongoing basis so that you can continue to adjust what it is you need to do for the desired outcome? For example, if losing weight is what it is you're trying to do, you can measure the amount of calories that you are burning. You can measure the heart rate that you're working at. You could measure the way that you're working out. Are there variables? Are you switching it up? Do you need a trainer? So the measurement of it is going to be consistent over an extended period of time based upon what you specifically set out to do. Because if you cannot measure it, you cannot track it. The third part of the acronym is attainable. And you can consider your vision and you can consider your passion as part of that because it's only as attainable as you are committed to it. So you need to review that having looked at the specifics and how you're going to measure it. And is it now still truly attainable? Is it something that you want to put in the sustained effort and commitment to make happen with the measurements in place that you may have to spend money on, the commitment of time and energy that you will have to go to the gym Do you still feel as passionate and committed to your vision as you did when you started out? Does it resonate within you with the same energy and frequency as when you started out? Because if it does, the chances of you attaining it have just gone up exponentially, because you're going to need sustained, committed effort to attain anything. The fourth part of the acronym is realistic. Have you made or set realistic expectations? So reflect on that and ask yourself, are my expectations for my results realistic? Can I really lose 15 or 20 pounds in 3 weeks? That may not be possible. So if you are setting unrealistic goals for yourself, it is going to be discouraging. I would suggest that if you set a goal that you think can be accomplished in 3 weeks, add an additional week and make it 4. Thereby, if you do accomplish it in 3 weeks, you'll give yourself a pat on the back. And if you don't and you need the extra week, you won't beat yourself up. So give yourself that extra time. Take the pressure off of yourself, because there's always a great benefit of finishing anything ahead of schedule. And it alleviates any stress or anxiety that you may have about not accomplishing things in the time frame that you set. It also allows you to have more time to accommodate situations and events that will come up that are unforeseen. And the last part of the equation in goal setting is the T, the tangible. And what really does tangible mean if a goal is tangible to you? I mentioned it earlier when I talked about vision and I talked about passion. Tangible is the feeling that this is a reality, that you can almost taste it, feel it, touch it before it is in reality. You've heard the saying, the tension in the room was tangible, the energy in the room was tangible. Well, we do say that, and the reason is because it's a reality. We can actually feel it. We might not be able to see it, we might not be able to touch it at that moment in time, but it is a tangible reality that we are aware of. And if you can relate to your goals in that way, they are tangible, they connect back to your vision. Once you've gone through the process of specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic, and you still have that passion and feel it very tangible as a reality within yourself, the chances of you manifesting it are very real. And that is the difference between people who manifest their goals and those who just dream about them. And the most important aspect of goal setting is writing down these different stages of goal setting: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and tangible. And writing things down creates a clarity, and then reviewing them and giving yourself time to sit with them and modify them if you need to before you go into the fourth place to make this a reality, which is the strategy. Strategically moving forward with all the aspects you have now written down for your goal setting and beginning to create a strategy to get them into motion. Strategy is a process of executing the goal you have now set. You have to have a strategy. I call it strategic focus. Back to that focus is a strategic focus on how you are now going to implement the goal you have set. So how to be focused and how to stay focused, if you've done the process right, ends up in this place, finally, of having a strategic focus of how you're going to implement everything that you need to get done to accomplish your vision that you initially set out to do. Using the example that we have used in this episode, you may have in the beginning on your goal-setting process decided that you wanted to lose weight and go to the gym. And you may know how you've decided you're going to measure that. Just taking those two areas, there is a strategy involved with that now because, first of all, you're going to the gym. Do you have a gym? Okay. If you don't, you have to create a strategy on how you're going to find out about gyms that are in your area that may include the equipment that you want to have to measure your progress. And does that gym have a trainer? And if not, you can't afford a trainer or don't want a trainer, do they have classes that you may be able to attend that are affordable for you to go and take if you work better in classes than you do alone? So your strategy now becomes putting into place and focusing on all the things you need to have your goal become a reality. You segment out each part of the goal-setting process and you look at your strategic focus and make sure that your strategy matches each part of the goal-setting process. And once you have all that in alignment, you then have the tools and the ability to bring into fruition with focused concentration and alignment what you initially set out to accomplish. How to focus using vision, passion, goal setting, and strategy to bring into your life anything that you have a connection to as a vision and you have tremendous commitment to and focus on, you can and will make it a reality. I sincerely appreciate you listening to the podcast. Please subscribe so you do not miss any upcoming episodes. Whatever platform you're on, please leave a rating and review. I would greatly appreciate it. Any additional information on me, Linton Bergson, and my 5-star reviewed book, Purposeful Vision, is available at selfrealized.com, which is all one word. You can also leave any comments or suggestions on the website. I look forward to connecting with you very soon, and take good care of yourself.